Hey everyone, Rhyteous here. I'm sitting here thinking about information, and there's this one saying in particular that comes to mind, and it's something I've heard about a lot of people, and it's yeah, you have the talent, or yeah, you have the knowledge, but what are you gonna do with it? Yeah, he's a expert ballet dancer, but what's he gonna do with it? Or yeah, he can sing country music really well and play guitar, but what's he gonna do with it? Or etc. So it's just at first I was thinking, life is about information, and the people who don't have access to certain information have to pay the people who do to get that information. Like if you want to start working out and you really don't know how to work out and you don't know anybody who does work out, you probably go to a gym and you get a free trial with a trainer, and then you end up paying the trainer, right? You get like one free session, that way they're going to make your body hurt, and then you decide they know what they're doing, and you then go and pay, and you start working out with them. So it's like that with a lot of things. What do you do when your car breaks down? People don't do a lot of preventative maintenance, so it's probably more likely that you wait until it breaks, have it towed somewhere, and then wherever you have it towed, they will fix your car, because you don't have a wrecker. You don't either have the information or the will or the want to obtain a wrecker, other than a phone number. I'm talking about a personal owned vehicle that you could haul your own vehicles with. And then you also don't have a shop, the tools, or the knowledge to fix the car. I'm assuming. You might. Maybe you're pretty well off. You could do that. You just don't want to work on it. But the majority of people just wait for things to break, take them to somebody who can fix them, and then have them fixed, hopefully. So it's just this exchange of information for currency, and that's, from what I can tell, basically what all of society is. You get good enough at anything, and then the only way to live, I don't want to say a meaningful life, but the only way to live comfortably, because things do cost money and you do have to use it for everything, is to take your skill and to take your knowledge, your advice, your profession that you've built. Maybe you're a woodworker and you do this in your garage. Maybe you play guitar, and you just become so good that you want to start giving lessons or whatever. You have to monetize that. Like that is the world. You can't just become good at guitar and then start teaching other people guitar without getting money for it. And I think that's very unfortunate. I don't like that. I really wish that it was more of a trading of skills and a conglomeration of knowledge, between communities. Like this neighborhood that I live in, it's a very nice, quiet corner. A lot of families. A lot of the families around here know me, and I'll play soccer with the kids in the yard. But there's not much exchange going on there. It's just pleasantries and basic hellos and how's the weather and all that surface level bullshit. So, it would be nice to create something deeper, something better. And I had actually thought about just giving, I'm not as advanced, I'm not a teacher, but I've been doing yoga for a while. I thought about maybe giving very basic yoga classes in the yard, or workout classes, or instrument lessons, or something, just to kind of build that sense of community with people. And instead of every interaction with somebody being like, hey, how are you? How's the day? How's this little bit of cream on top of your coffee that you don't want? It would be deeper than that. It would be like, there's Uriah. There's the guy that knows more than I do in the musical realm and is passing that information along to me. You know, like that. Not only is that information invaluable, but being that person is invaluable. You know, having that kind of connection with somebody and being known for that, I think, is invaluable. So it's just, I was just thinking about just how money and information are tied together, you know. And I'll interchange my words just because I've used, you know, common vernacular for so long, and so I'll say money instead of currency, but I know that it's all fiat currency. I know that it's just, you know, currency is the dollar or the yen or the pound or the franc, and it's just, I don't want to go into all that, but for anybody who's paying attention, like I would be, I am aware that money has inherent worth and that there's a difference between money, like potentially gold, and currency. So maybe I've alleviated some headaches there, but, or maybe nobody cares. I don't know. Just thinking about it, you know, thinking about what you have to do, what I have to do. This one may be a little too personal, but, you know, I love to do things, and I love to do things for people, and I love to do things for people for free, because in my opinion, and this is probably a quote on Facebook somewhere or something, I feel like I've read it somewhere, but as soon as you add a dollar value to something, to me, personally, inside, legitimately, it feels almost worthless, or it feels illegitimate. It feels insincere is probably the best word. So for me it feels like I'm swindling somebody. You know, it's because deep down I know anybody can have this information or this thing or this knowledge. It's obtainable, right? Like I'm not special for knowing more than you or anybody else. I just have done whatever it takes to learn. Maybe I read a book that you didn't read, and now I have that information. So for me to make somebody pay for, you know, guitar lessons or soccer lessons or anything, kind of just muddies the water, in my opinion. Like it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. It's like, how dare I come up and say that I want to help you and that I want you to be better at guitar or at soccer or at any of these things that I'm good at, and then say, but I need a little bit of money. Yeah, no, I'm good at it, and I can make you good too. And the information that I received was free, other than, you know, the cost of time and experience. But I think I need some of your dollars to pass that information along. Yeah, it's totally possible, and just as easy, and would happen, you know, without the money or with. But I have chosen to be the person that tells you, before I can exchange this information, I gotta have that currency. I need them dollars, bro. You know, like, it's just, to me, it's sickening. I just don't like it. It's insincere. It's not me. It's not who I want to be. It's not the person I would like to create for Uriah, for Rhyteous, if you will, is not the kind of person that wants to go around taking people's money. I would like to live a very simple lifestyle, continually gaining knowledge and growing as a person and passing that on to other people sincerely for, you know, free, if you will. So it's very difficult for me to do that. It's very difficult for me to advertise myself. It's very difficult for me to monetize my skills, which is basically what the world is a monetization of skills. You know, you become really good at trading stocks. What do? You make a YouTube channel and you put advertisements out there everywhere, and you want, if you want to be as good as I am, watch this 30-second video and it's free, and then it's everywhere. Everybody does that, and I'm not saying the information may be illegitimate or insincere. I just don't like it. I just don't like the way that is. I don't like the way that people are doing that. I don't like the way that there's just this. I guess it comes with the territory. When you have the knowledge, it goes back to that fifth grade song we had to sing. Knowledge is power, and you do have the power when you have the knowledge, and so it's just a matter of when you get that high up in your skill, in your profession, in your world. Are you going to succumb to the rules that already exist? Or are you going to try and create your own? Because when you have that power, you have that power. You have those options, right? Like, people do want to know how to look as good as you. People do want to know how to play guitar as good as you, or soccer as good as you, and or well, for anybody who's a stickler, as well as you. Yeah. It just, they do. It's inherent in us. So then you have to choose, how you're going to do it, how you're going to relay the information. And the problem is people become good at things, but then if they get high enough up, on the proverbial ladder, then there are a lot of other influences, and people say like, oh, hey, you've reached this level, congratulations, now welcome to this part of the world, here's how we do it. We're going to get you somebody who's going to market for you, we're going to get you somebody who's going to, do your taxes, and it's just suddenly all these other people come in who are good in their professions and work with you. But what a lot of those people don't realize is that just because that's part of the current game doesn't mean it has to be part of your game. It doesn't mean it has to be your choice, Maybe you just, there are people who do things different. I'm not arguing that. There are people who, create charities and things like that, and fundraiser events for certain organizations. But the overall idea, I feel, needs to change. But, how's it going to change? When's it going to change? Where? Who's going to do it? Who's going to change it? Who's going to start giving out stuff for free, knowing that they're not going to get anything back, or at least thinking they won't, right? Like, that's what it is. It's not even about the money, in my opinion. It's just knowing that you've had to work yourself, you've had to use your mental capacity, your brain, your body, your time, your money for food, for your brain and your body, to give you more time to learn these things and to harness these abilities and these skills, and you feel like you're owed something for that. Why? That's common knowledge, right? You are owed for the work that you're put in. Why? Think about all the people who worked for GM, and at 19 years, right before they got their 20-year mark where their pension would kick in, the plant closed. GM don't care. GM didn't owe those people anything, So and I'm not saying to be a dick. I'm not saying to be that guy. But what I'm saying is, nobody owes anybody anything. And if you truly just want to perpetuate the existence of guitar, yoga, soccer, car mechanic, whatever it is, whatever this thing is in the world that you feel the world needs, and you want to continue the idea of it and the reality of it, if you become powerful enough in it, you have influence. You then can choose what it's going to be and how that world is going to be. And then it just kind of branches off from there, right? Like that we have our niches, and everybody just knows auto mechanics are they're grease monkeys. They're dirty, right? They work on cars all the time. Cars are dirty. They're on the roads. What if one day there's a time when cars aren't dirty all the time, you know? And they develop some sort of, like, there are liquid retardant and grease retardant and things like that, materials out there they could start making clothing out of. I mean, our ideas of mechanic would completely change if they started changing. If they started changing the types of clothes they wear with these protective chemicals on them, as long as they're, don't contain carcinogens, but who knows? And if they just, the routine changes, the style changes, maybe the vehicle changes, maybe, the motors all become magnetic and frictionless and we don't need oil anymore. And then they're not going to be greasy and dirty, dirt from the road and other things, but it's like that oil and those other lubricants and things won't become an issue. So the whole idea of auto mechanic would change, right? Well then, how would the world change when we're not looking at somebody who says that they're a mechanic and immediately thinking dirt, grease, filth, grime, cigarettes, probably, and just there are all these negative connotations that are associated with being an auto mechanic, and that's just one example. You know what I mean? There are these assumptions with all groups, with all niches, with all careers, jobs, workplaces, whatever. Whatever word helps you here. So I feel like I've kind of gone on long enough about that. But that was just the general idea, is information and the transference of information between people or people to a group or groups to groups is controlled monetarily, and people you feel that, you know what I mean? Like if you're at a job or something, you're told to withhold certain information and you're put into categories and you don't talk to these people, or if you do, you don't talk about this, or everybody knows this one. When you're at work, you don't talk about how much you make, right? I mean, it just, if that doesn't tell you how uneven everything is, then I don't know what does, because it just, that's just a tier that's all stacked. You know what I mean? You're making this when you're right here, and so-and-so's making this when you're right there. And the problem is people know. They just have to pretend like they don't know, or they have to go, they find out how much Bob makes, and then they have to go into work not hating Bob anymore because they know he's a piece of shit, but he makes more than they do, and he got moved up because he's lazy, and that's the only reason he's management. He can't really even do his job very well. And it just creates all this internal animosity and these fake interactions with people, It creates all that surface, everything stays surface level at that point, because deep down you know what the reality is, but you can't ever bring it up because you know you're not going to bring it up peacefully. You're not going to be able to just come up and talk to Bob about how terrible he is at his job and how, you deserve to take his job because you do your job better than he does his job, and so therefore you would do his job better than he does his job, and you should have it, and you should get his amount of money, Well, then other factors come into play, and this is a rant. I'm just going to apologize because I was supposed to end earlier. But, then everybody's like, well, Bob's got kids. Bob's got kids, and he's got to feed those kids, and there's always something. There's always something. There's always some reason why somebody needs it more than you do, or vice versa. And so it's just, there's two sides to every story. The bottom line is just that there is a game, and then within that game there are a series of games, and people choose to abide by the rules of those games. But what they have yet to realize, or what hopefully people are slowly realizing, is that the rules aren't set in stone, because they're rules. Laws are different than rules. And I don't want to get started on that, because the laws that we know are also written rules, right? They're just, we call them laws, but like people say gravity is a law, right? Because you can't unwrite gravity. But the things that we have written into law are just rules. They can be broken, so they're not law. They're not universal law. It's not this unbreakable thing. So this entire world is just a set of rules, and all these rules are just perpetuated by words and paper, and people abide by them. And that's why people think murdering is bad, is because it's against the rules, and also because they're scared that they might get murdered. Otherwise, if they were the biggest, baddest mother in this area, they would just be like, yeah, fucking murder people, whatever. But it's the way that we feel about it, and it's the way that we're told to feel about it. And I'm sure you guys are sick of me now. That's about all I want to get to on that, because this is turning into something else. I'll have to take in the comments, let me know all these other tangents I've kind of gone on, what you'd like me to expand on and talk about more, and hopefully I'll have some thoughts about those. All extemporaneous, of course. You can see this is all one long video. This is just me monologuing on my computer desk, literally just sitting here. I've got the tripod set up today. That way I can use my hands a little bit and kind of work with angles and not have to, hold the phone for 22 minutes and just kill my shoulder. So this is what you get. All right. Again, information, the exchange of information, how it is controlled monetarily. What can we do to change it? Do we want to change it? Do we like this? Do we want to perpetuate this? We have the power. So if we have the power and we're continuing on with these things that we didn't create, do we want to keep allowing them to create the world we're living in, which we are creating by allowing them to create? Is that making sense? Somebody comes to your door and sells you a newspaper, and you don't want to support the newspaper, you don't buy the newspaper. Well, if somebody presents a rule, or if somebody presents a way of life and you don't support that way of life, you don't buy into it, as they say. You don't support it. So think about what you're supporting and what you would like to be supporting, or if you'd want to be supporting anything at all. There may be only a few things in this world that you'd like to support, and other than keeping yourself alive, you don't like to participate in a lot of the other things. And maybe you decide to create your own thing. And that's where shit gets interesting. That's where you go crazy and create a YouTube channel where you monologue for 23 minutes and then upload it for everybody to hear. So I swear to God, I'm going to stop talking now. Whatever one you believe in, I'm going to stop talking now. And this will probably get uploaded because I think it's just too real. It's just too good. I like it. I like it a lot. And a lot of these things seem to happen in the morning for some reason. So you guys don't want raw? Don't watch it. Sorry. It's just like the reason I leave these things unedited, the reason these things are varying in length is because thoughts and conversations vary in length and depth, and minds change and topics change, and just everything is in flux. So, the videos most people watch, they're scripted. There's a script, there are jump cuts, between things where they fucked up or said something different. So there are very few people that I've seen on YouTube or anywhere that can go on and hold a decent conversation like this for this amount of time. And I'm really not trying to brag. I'm just saying that, like, that's a reality. JP Sears is one of them. I like him. I like his stuff. He's pretty good. He'll go on for a long time. It looks like he's got solid, straight, 20 to 30 minute monologues. And I really like that. So whether or not they're rehearsed, I don't know. kind of irrelevant. It's just a matter of being able to get up and talk and get the information out and present ideas and provoke thoughts. And that's all I'm trying to do. That's all hopefully I am doing. So one last time at 25 minutes. Information, the transference of it from person to person, person to group, group to group, ad nauseum, is monetized. Think about it. Just think about that. Why? Why is it? Do you want it to be? Do you want your information to be monetized? Do you want to create something out of the skills that you have and monetize it? Do you want to offer those skills for free? What do you call free? Would you like to barter? Do you want to offer your skills to someone else for their skills? Is that easier? Is that easier than having that person use those skills to get money, to pay you for your skills to learn the information? You tell me. What do you think? What do you want to do? It's your life, Start living it the way that you want to. And if you can't, live it the way that you can until you're living the way that you want to. Because if you don't change it, it'll never change. It's just that cut and dry. It's like they tell alcoholics. The only way to stop drinking is to stop drinking. That's it. That's all there is. Whether or not you can do that is all in your head. So, 26 and a half minutes. I'm getting out of here. So, signing out. Everyone have a great day. And think. Think about all that we've talked about. All right, take it easy.